Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. It's been a bit. I might have to shake some of the rust off. I haven't done a live since December, so that seems like forever ago. Let me click and see if we have any comments. Good morning. I hope, well, Happy New Year. I know you've probably been told this already, but this is my first time joining you in 2025. So thanks for getting up if you're on the West Coast, for joining me early this morning. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. We're going to do some crafty things today. Seriously was having a smidgy of a heart attack because it was taking a little bit of time for those comments to come in. Thank you all, Sarah and Jill, and I missed the first one. I think it's Marlene and Rachel and Valerie and Trudy. Thank you all for joining me from all over the place. Good morning. Oh, thank you. I always wonder if the technology is going to do a good job for us today, so that's awesome. Good morning from California. Oh my gosh. Thank you for joining us. There's a lot going on over there. So here in the Midwest, we're just cold, so we're gonna have it's funny when we here get excited about, like, 27 is our high for today, and I'm excited about that. Good morning, Jamie and Sally and Mary. I know I missed a bunch of names, but good morning. Yes, and again, another Happy New Year. Are you a resolution person? I would be curious, because I always feel bad when I say I'm not. I do make goals and resolutions, but I don't usually do it the first of the year. I don't know why. I do it when my mind has decided that it's going to happen. So good morning from Alaska. Now I can't say a word about being cold, I bet. So, and Phoenix and Wisconsin, thank you for joining me. So I want to cover a few things with you. How exciting is the Second Chance release? I have been waiting for this one for some time now. Because there are products on there that were free with $100 purchase that I loved so much, and I couldn't wait for them to be a part of our main catalog. Oh, there's a lot of background noise. I'll try turning off let me turn off our air conditioning unit, see if that helps. Tell me if that helps. I don't know, it gets warm in here. There's lots of lights, so I turn on the air conditioning unit. So, where was I? Talking about the Second Chance release. I absolutely love so many things in there. The Summer Nights, I can't remember what the other one is, the Bloomcore that came out. I had my cart. It's all ready to go. I just wanted to check out here in the studio, but I didn't want to forget anything. So I put everything in my cart. So I have started the pile downstairs that I will go check out after my live. But there is a deal in that Second Chance category that if you buy 5 items, you get 15% off. So that goes, I'm just going to say, till the end of the day on Monday, because it's technically 9 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday, but you don't want to run that close. I always think that time gets away from you. It's easy to forget, so don't wait. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it, because I am so super excited. But I do love flowers, and there's quite a few in there, so that's probably a good thing. And then the other thing is our Stamp Joy Virtual that comes up in the spring. I believe it was March. I thought I wrote down the date, but the Stamp Joy Virtual registration ends January 25th. So don't forget that. That's through the day on the 25th that it closes. So if you want to join us and stay in your slippers in the comfort of your home, it's a really great event. We try to keep you busy and challenge you, but also I feel like we go at a pace that someone that might be new can still keep up with. And the good part is, too, you just go back and watch it again. If you didn't complete something or needed to go a little slower, it's yours to watch over and over again. So Stamp Joy Virtual is awesome for that, because in person you can't rewind us, but virtual you can. So yeah. That January 25th is a cutoff again for that. And I'm just going to warn you now, I don't have tea to spill. I know they have stuff coming up on the fan page on Saturday, and Taylor will be back here on Tuesday to share what's going on with you then. And I've seen her project. It's super cute. So maybe a little rainbow-ish. So you'll want to join us on Tuesday. And then I have the live next Thursday too. So come join me. I have a run here of, I had a big break of not really any lives for a while, and now I have I'll join you for the next 3 Thursdays in a row. So thank you for joining me today though. I'm going to show you today how to kind of think outside the box and use your supplies in a different way. So let's get to it. Let me swap you down. This is what we're going to work on today. And I did see a few comments of people that don't do the resolutions like me, and I think I saw a few that say they do it, but I'm glad I'm not alone, because I don't know why that seems like the second question to everyone's Happy New Year is that they ask about the resolutions, and I'm always like, no, I challenge myself enough. I feel like that I don't, January 1st is too much stress for the new year, I guess. There's so much going on. So these are my cards for today, and we're going to explore color, how to use your dies in a different way, and then also I'm using the embossing folder in a different way. So if you joined us last year for Stamp Joy Virtual in the spring, we did a similar card. I think it was with an embossing folder called Baroque Bouquet. And I just love that. And we finally had another embossing folder that I thought was worthy of that technique and really explored it and brought it to light really well. I got to show you one that I finished before the live because I just can't stop myself. So I'll share the colors with you, and then I'll share with you how I did it. This one I just did. Obviously I haven't finished my project yet. So I'll put the colors out just so, because they're the first things sitting here. And Tropical Punch and Confetti Cake. So that was the colors I used for this one. That's not done yet. I actually feel like I might need to go over it one more time because I still see some lighter spots. Let me hold that up. Does that help? Curious to know if that background noise got any better. So whoever said that, if you would chime in, because if it didn't, I might turn the AC back on. So this outermost color is Tropical Punch, and because I was kind of messing with it before I joined you today, it's still drying back. So if I remember, I'm going to try to bring it back to you at the end because it really changes when our inks dry. So that was the color combo on that. I have Cupcake, or you could use Pink Champagne here. Guava. I did have a color card that kind of with some of my colors. I used Cupcake just because it was here, but I think I would like Pink Champagne a little better. The green here is Spearmint. If I wasn't just kind of playing around, I might add a little bit of like green tea or something to give the greenery a little bit of depth. This is Confetti Cake, and then over the top, the whole thing is the Tropical Punch. So that was that one. Get those out of the way. Then this one I'm not going to create because I'm not sure I can reproduce this one. I was using Cupcake and Strawberry Milkshake are my flowers, and the Plum Punch are my flowers. And then I used Pea Pod for my greenery. And then over the top was something that I don't think I can reproduce. So this color is Blueberry. That's what was on my brayer, but I have to say, I don't think that's the color that came out. So this is Blueberry on white cardstock. So what I think I did was I accidentally was in the middle of using Concord Grape, and I did not clean my brayer. Has anyone ever done that? Luckily it wasn't, luckily it didn't, what do I want to say, ruin my project or ruin the ink pad, but I think I had a little Concord Grape on my brayer, and then I picked up Blueberry, and I ended up with this color, and I haven't quite figured out how to reproduce this. I believe if I use Sour Gummy, I think that would work really well, but just to say, I think that's a mixed batch on that one. And then I did use champagne foil on that with the new stamp set that came out on Tuesday called Hello Friend. Yeah, happy accent, AC, right? I completely agree. And then there's also some teal glitter drops on there. So, and you'll see this arch in the background. I'm going to talk you through how I did that. But yeah, I love it, but I cannot perfectly recreate it. I think sour gummy would get me very, very, very close. So I would say this, if I had to guess, this is the closest color combo to that if you were wanting to try to reproduce it. And then last but not least is the one we're going to do today. I have so many ideas for different ones that I feel like I could create. The other night I went through my color combo swatches and I just have lots of ideas of different colors I think I could do with this technique. The dark over the top is nice. I don't think you have to go super dark. I know most of the samples I have for you today kind of tended towards a dark ink. The original person that designed this was some time ago. It's maybe been a couple of years. They did black over the top. And I like that, but I also, black's kind of harsh for me. So I kind of liked taking the idea and took it with color over the top instead. But we'll get into how I did that. Oh wait, I'm missing my green for you here. Pea pod, and then I do think I had a little bit of macaroon in these side flowers. I didn't bring that one over with me today, but I think that will work just fine. So let me get these out of the way and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so let me talk, I kind of want to talk about just this first to start with. So the embossing folder is the Bloomcore embossing folder that was released on Tuesday. We had the Bloomcore print that was released as $100 with purchase in the fall, and I just love it. Yes, Pam says a dark green would be beautiful. I agree. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know why. I just tend towards blues usually. It's my favorite. Teals are my favorite jam. But anyway, this is the Bloomcore print, and that's that embossing folder. And this is how it looks on the front side of Sugar Cube cardstock. And this is how it looks on the back. Both very beautiful, but the back side is actually what we use to create our project today, because we want this flat high area to be where we add that ink. So it's always crazy. I brought this home to my family the other day and I said, this started with this. And luckily both my daughters who are sort of, interested in what I do, were like, wow, that's crazy. So anyway, it's kind of fun that this ends up with this. And it's just kind of fun. I feel like it gives you a chance to really explore colors, pull out any of your My True colors that you might have. This was where this one started. I kind of deviated quite a bit because I did stick with this. I might have to go grab this ink pad unless someone hears me and would grab it for me. I forgot my macaron. Plum punch. And then I added just a little bit of, I had tested and I felt like these two colors got a little too dark. So strawberry milkshake is where I ended up with, but I feel like it just lands in there with those colors. And then I used cupcake instead of rose water. But again, my True colors just kind of gets my juices like started and thinking about the color, and then I can deviate if I want. But that's kind of where it really started. Oh, thank you, Sue. Sure. She heard my call. I was like, well, it's barely there, but I would like to add it. So thank you so very, very much. So one thing I have to tell you about when you do this is when you use our 3D embossing folders is it really is helpful to your cardstock to kind of wet. I know some people like to either spray it with water. I am a person that really likes to just use a baby wipe. So I'm going to get my machine all set up so that I can walk you through this, and I do have to work quickly, so I'm just going to grab all my parts, which is my Sugar Cube cardstock, my baby wipe, then I need my machine, of course. I'm going to get this out of the way because we don't need it. I need my embossing pads. And then, of course, I need my Bloomcore print embossing folder. So this on the website you need for our 3D embossing folders, or if you have one that's not ours, we call this our TE Teal embossing pad kit. The nice part about this over our original one we used to sell is this is 6x6 for our embossing folder. So yeah. And the other thing to tell you is that this sandwich I'm going to tell you is for a Sizzix, but I know you all have different things. I would just say follow the sandwich on your machine, but this is what I use in the Sizzix. The other thing to say is that every machine is a little different. So We have one machine here in the office that's a little older and I need both of my embossing pads. And then there's another one that's a little newer and I definitely only need the thicker one. So for my Sizzix machine though, I need that base, which there is the thin die adapter. I don't need that right now. And then I just need one of my cutting plates. I will need, of course, this, and I'm gonna start, because I can always come back and add more pressure. I'm just gonna start with the thicker of the two. So that is gonna go on the very bottom against my standard platform. And then this is where I just wanna be ready to go. I always have my Bloomcore embossing folder ready to go. And I've just wiped the front and the back, and I can do that. Sometimes I can't wipe where there's ink, but this being said, I'm starting just with sugar cube cardstock. I can wipe both sides. I'm gonna center that with so that I can see the printing on this, right side up. Oh, I did this wrong, sorry. We forgot one thing. I would like this cut into an arch. Hold please, sorry about that. I want to have this cut first. If I were to emboss it, it would be great and I could just use it as a rectangle. But if you want to do your die cutting first, so you don't emboss it and then die cut, and you're going to squish your design back down. So let me just grab, this is our arch stacklets, which have been around for a while, oldie but goodie. They're one of my favorites. So I have the third smallest. Cut that out. Sorry, I'm glad I caught myself. All right, now we will take our sandwich back apart again. Probably, I might do one more just because I want to show it to you twice. Just in case. Oh. Put that there, put this aside. I'm done with my arch stacklet for now. I will need to come back, I will need that in a minute. So again, back to my platform, my one cutting plate, my thick part to the TE embossing pad. If I did, just to say, if I did want the thin one, you would put the thin one on the bottom, thick one on the top. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna assume I kind of know these machines well. So again, I'm gonna grab my arch stacklet. I'm gonna rub that on the front and the back with a baby wipe. Line that up again. I was like, all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, this isn't the shape I planned on. So let me hold it. Can you see that? It's nice that I can see right through here to decide where I want this to line up, how I want it to look. So like that, set that on top of my one thick embossing mat, my cutting plate. I will run it through. That feels like pretty good tension to me. So I'm gonna peek. Yep, that looks really nice. Sometimes if you have too much tension, which you might ask, how is that bad? Too much tension, one, can hurt your machine, and two, it'll start cracking your paper, even with a baby wipe. So if you have a lot of cracking and you've already wiped it, go down to one of these from the TE embossing pad kit. If you're finding that you don't see a lot of depth, or if you're just trying to figure out how your machine works, grab a scratch piece of paper. You'll want it to be a similar weight of cardstock as to what you're using, but test it. So I'll do it one more time. And you know what, let me just try. I'm gonna grab my thin, so it'd be my standard platform, thin, thick. Grab my baby wipe again, wipe both sides. And I'm gonna show you in a minute, this is something you want to let your cardstock dry from before you move straight into your project. So I did some the other day when I was at work so that they could be fully dry before the live today, and I'll show you why, because it really does make a difference to your project. So send that one through. I always put my hinged side through first. Yeah, this is gonna work, but it's really tight. I would probably go back to the one, but let's see how it, oh, it didn't crack, so it's really fine. I have popped a Sizzix machine, like the mechanism in the inside. So I am probably more cautious than most. So this is with both of them. This is with one. I feel like the image is similar. Just don't overdo it to your machine. Don't ever force your machine to kind of run through. So let's get that out of the way. And I'll show you, like I said, I did a whole bunch of these. These are the ones I just did. And I did a whole bunch of them on Monday this week. You wouldn't need that far in advance, but you want your cardstock to become dry. Like if your cardstock feels cool, that means there's still moisture in it, and you don't want that because this will happen. Let me see, where's my example? I saved it for you because it was bad, and I thought they need to see this. I don't know, here it is. Do you see how blurred these lines are in here? That's what happens when you don't let your cardstock dry from the baby wipe. So you need to put some moisture in there to get your embossing folder to really give you a nice impression, but then you also have to let it dry so that your inks don't bleed into each other. So can you see that? Here, I'll show you this one, and this is what happened when I let it dry. Big difference. So something to think about if you can do some. I did a whole bunch the other day because I was like, I can tell I'm gonna have fun doing this. So let me have a bunch ready to go for the live. So I'll put these aside so I don't forget about them and accidentally use them. So again, front side, but we're gonna work on the back side today. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the colors that I use kind of adapted from this. I like to start with my lighter colors first, and I really am loving using these bitty brushes. We have the whole set of all of them done up here. And I just love them, and we even used our labels to mark them. But I love, especially for this Bloomcore, it's just everything's kind of small. There's a lot of smallish areas. So let's keep these close because we'll use them. I have my ink pad holder. Start with the macaron. Thank you, Sue, for bailing me out on that. Yeah, Angie, you're welcome. I was like, oh, I really should throw this out. And then I was like, no, I really should save this. And it will definitely prove a point, right? So I'm just gonna go in and add some macaroon where I want it on these smaller flowers. The crazy thing about this is that you get to be as messy as you want with this because you're covering up all those high spots, which is kind of fun. To just have the ability to just go at it. The thing you want to make sure is that it's just getting down in those divots. Just a little bit up in here. It's very, very forgiving. And even if you leave some areas white, it's just really pretty. I thought I didn't really do this one right here in the middle. And I like the white. It shows through nicely. So that was that one. I want to come in with my cupcake just because I don't want to lose that. That's my next lightest one. That is your sloppy copy, Pam. That's funny. I love it. And I agree. I love the bitty brushes. They're kind of nice too for travel, but they're really great for adding depth and dimension to a project, and then really awesome for this project. If you joined us for Stamp Joy Virtual last year, you remember the Baroque, I believe it's called Baroque Bouquet embossing folder we did with this. That had a lot of bigger areas to color so that you could maybe use our next size up brushes. This Bloomcore really, I feel like, calls for these tiny, tiny brushes. I just want to hit everything that looks like a flower here. These bigger ones are going to be my plum one, so I can come back in with that in a minute. I hope you all enjoyed some of the stuff that we brought back. It's always kind of interesting to see what everyone loved. I love this Bloomcore, and then all the summer nights that came out. I love them. I need to get organized. Is that what we're all working on right now? I guess I do things like the first of the year. I'm like, I'm getting organized, but it's just I'm getting organized. It's not I'm just trying to like every day pick something to tackle, whether it's one drawer. But I've been kind of doing that since December. Once I pulled my Christmas stuff out, I was so overwhelmed with what I had and didn't use anymore. I started there. So let's grab, and again, I made a little edit with this one. I wanted to use, I tried the dragon fruit, and this is plum punch. I know I didn't put the name up there yet. And I tried lollipop, but I felt like they got too close to my dragon fruit. So that's why I edited myself and I went down to the strawberry milkshake. Edited my plan. And again, that doesn't matter. You get to look messy on this. Okay, there's that. And then the plum punch. Oh, I didn't pull that one yet. Start in the middle and work my way out. I will say, if you do clockwise like I do, clockwise, you make sure you hit it counterclockwise also, because it's really apparent when you have those little white divots in there. So make sure you go clockwise and counterclockwise. I don't know, I'm curious, are we all cleaned, reorganized our room? Wow, Pam, you are organized. I've only just started. The other day I went up to my craft room just to make a quick hello card. I had to clean up for an hour before I could even start because I couldn't find the rectangle die set I wanted to use. So I am in need. Over Christmas, it kind of became my craft room became this place to stash things until after the holidays. Is that anyone else? I just know it's my space and I don't have to worry about it being in anyone else's way or my husband's way, so I kind of hide it in my craft room, and that's the thing I got to get back to. So that's all my pinks for now. I probably could have done my pea pod before my plum punch just because plum punch is pretty dark and overpowering. But that's okay. We'll come in with our green. And there's so many greens that look good with this. I picked pea pod because I didn't want this to be very, like lime zest is usually my go-to green, but yeah. I'm with you. I think it's Donna. I apologize again. Those are one of the printed words that I can't read. I'm with you. I need help. Whitney was all excited about she had organized her pantry. I'm like, oh, I need that. Luckily, I mean, my kids are grown, so I don't have quite the snacks that everyone with littles have. I always gave my girls just a drawer. And once that drawer was full, that was it. You have to either eat the snacks or share or whatever. Yeah. They only had a drawer is all I ever gave them. Okay, and if you do have some color, like down here, there's one little leaf, and I've got a little green on this, on that little bud. You can't get that specific, it's just too hard. So, and it really doesn't show. I feel like it's artistic, and don't get stressed about that part is what I'm trying to say. I think that looks really good. Some darker down the stem would be nice. Just to have some depth of color. Okay, now we get to the really fun part, which is brayering over the top. So if you're joining us for Stamp Joy Virtual in the spring, I don't know if that list is out yet, but I don't think I'm spilling any tea or anything that you guys won't know soon, but we had said if you have a brayer, that would be nice. It's not like you don't have to have it. We'll give you other ways to get around it. But if you're someone like me who's been crafting for a while, having a brayer in your craft room is not an unusual tool to have. So I believe the one TE sells right now is this one. But this is my older one. I know there's Tim Holtz ones out there. Any of your brayers work. You just don't want me to use this one. For some reason, ours is squeaky. It'll drive you crazy. So I brought mine in from home. I have two from over the years, and I believe this is very similar to the one that we have now. So you need that. we need this, and then you need your Concord grape. So you can go about this two ways. I almost think a combination of both is easier. Oh, Gail, yes, this is so easy. And I feel like don't get stressed about like hitting other lines. I have done it with the, not our regular blender brushes, but the one size down, the one in between this and the tiny ones I've been using. And then you might overlap your colors a little bit more, but still, I swear, when you're all done, it just really looks beautiful. So, sorry, I'm reading. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that has to clean up before they can make a card. I really try hard to put everything away, but Christmas time was really bad, so. Yeah, so do you still have your brayer if you started 30 years ago? Do you still have it, or did you get rid of it? So you can do a combination of either one. I want to show you. You can take your ink pad, and what I like to do with my ink pad is I don't want to drag it from like over like these big open areas that I am not wanting to hit the Concord grape. So I don't want to start there. I want to start kind of down on this end where things are smaller. So what you will do is just kind of start running over the top of it. I find the brayer takes longer, but I get the most perfect results. So, but again, I'm begging you to like let it go with this. There are even boo-boos like really disappear. So did you all notice that I had a line over across that flower? Can you kind of see it? That is from my ink pad edge hitting it. So I try to pick my area where I'm running across kind of the smaller like openings first, because I find it gets my hand to let up a little bit and not press so hard. So once you get started, I feel like you kind of get in a groove. So that gave me this amount. And then I don't have to layer quite so much with my brayer, because I feel like the brayer gives me the best over the top evenness, and I don't have those little lines. So which one? I did it with another one. I think this was my ink pad too. I have more of a chance of getting the line. Combination of both works great, or just using your brayer works awesome, but I will tell you, you have to go over with the brayer many times. I think for this tropical punch, I think it was at like 5 already. So, and just remember your brayer only has like maybe, what is that, maybe 2 inches around, and then your ink is like off. It's not completely gone, but the most concentrated ink is off, because you've already put it on your cardstock. It is a little messy. The glass board is awesome for this. Pick some more of that up, because there's plenty of ink here on my, isn't that pretty? But I'm gonna show you too, when I said earlier, it dries back. Can you believe that? That's the same 2 colors. So this is Concord grape, but dried back, and that's what it looks like now. And I'm sure you could just keep adding and adding and adding to make it look really dark. But again, you don't want to go so much that you start getting that blurred look, because your ink is also putting moisture back into your cardstock. You just don't want to keep going till you get to something like that. But isn't that pretty? I can't help myself. I'm going to go over it one more time. Just using a very light hand. But we'll set that there because we have to clean up, because it makes such a mess, doesn't it? But the glass board is awesome for that, because you can grab some of that. You could use cardstock underneath if you didn't want to have to clean up. You just want to have scratch paper and throw it out. I'm going to use a baby wipe just so I don't get my microfiber cloth so dirty. And then I just you can take your brayer to the sink and wash it with soap and water. That's what I would prefer if I had a sink right next to me, just because it would clean up faster and I won't get so much ink on my fingers. But I just use that to clean out my brayer. I don't know if you can use alcohol on a brayer. I've never done it, so I would say do some research before you decide that. So let me wipe this off. Get that wet from the baby wipe off of there. I'm gonna go back to my baby wipe here. Oh, there's still, see, this is where I think I got a little bit of blueberry mixed in with my, or a little bit of Concord grape mixed in with my blueberry, because can you see how much is still coming off? That Concord grape is pretty strong, so I'll set that aside, but that's how I wash mine. I'm gonna let this sit because we're gonna let that dry while I show you how I'm gonna get this arch into this panel. So again, I use the arch die set. So this is the one that I use to cut it out, is the third down. And then the next one up is what I use to make that impression. And you can do this with any die that you have. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you my technique. This is when I just laid the die flat with the actual cut line of the die up. You get more of a wider frame, whereas this, do you see how thin that little frame is? That is from using it with the actual die line down. So this way would be if you put the back side or the wrong side of your die against your cardstock, and then to get the little lines is where you put the actual die line against your cardstock. So let me grab my machine again. We need our panel, of course, which I pre-cut some of them. Put them in a very safe spot, I'm sure. Here they are. So I need a toffee. I need my embossing pad kit again. I need my Sizzix machine. So again, I'm gonna go back to that similar platform that we had. So to do embossing with a die, you need the TE embossing pad kit or an embossing pad kit, whatever you have. The standard platforms, because we're gonna follow everything with that's on here. This is how they laid it out on the machine. I just always try to remind myself it's similar to a regular 2D embossing folder. So I'm gonna take both of them this time, and then I do need my cutting plates. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take my die. I need some teal tape so I don't, or temporary tape that is. Get this all lined up. So I'm gonna do it, I think I wanna do it with the die line down. So I like that fine. So against my cardstock, I have the actual die line of the die. So does that make sense? Where your actual die cuts, I call that the die line. I don't know if that's the exact right word, but anyway, we're gonna center it on there. Tape it in place. I might tape it on that side, use a little bit of a baby wipe to just make my impression deeper on this one. Just a little baby wipe quick. Tape that in place. And again, now I have my embossing pad kit on the bottom, my standard platform. My die is against my paper, the side that I would like it to impress on my paper. And then my two cutting plates. You could put the cutting plates wherever you prefer, but I just happen to just throw them on top. But it completely is up to you. Because I'm not actually cutting into this surface, so you could have gone your platform, your cutting plate, your embossing pad kit, your cardstock, and your die, and then your last cutting plate. I sometimes just get lazy and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't put it there. So as long as they're in there, because you're not doing any damage to your platform, because you're not actually cutting into it. So do you see that it just makes an impression? Isn't that cool? And you can get that with lots of stacklets. It makes just an impression to be able to create some interest on your card. Need to get the sticky from my temporary tape off. And there you go. Isn't that pretty? Just to give you a little something. And you can use whichever side you'd like. If you like this side, they're both great. I debated quite a bit as to which side I liked better. Do you guys have a preference? I don't know. I like them both. I think whichever way you go, you won't be wrong. So let's grab that. Set that aside. And I didn't want to impress into my card base, I used just a card front piece that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But you could absolutely decide to do whatever's most comfortable for you or whatever you'd like better. You could do that exact same thing right into your card base. I just wanted to hide the back of it and added it to the front of a card base. So completely up to you, whatever you like the best. I think I'm gonna go, I think they're both fine. I like both. Let me do it this way. So this would be what I'd consider kind of the back side. We'll put that side up this time just because I didn't do it with this one. Grab some glue. I think they're both beautiful. That's why it's kind of hard to decide. I like to use liquid glue for this just because I have that impression line to avoid it, just so it doesn't. Just because it's impressed down in there. Set that on the top. That's my card base. Just a magnet to hold that for a minute, and then this is our panel. I'm going to go ahead and put a little, you know, my favorite 1x3 32nd inch foam tape on there. On the back of there. So that's what the back looks like. So that lets you know how saturated that is from all the ink that we used on the front. And I feel like that just also goes to show how you do need to wait and let that panel dry before you start with all your blending. So you can do that. If you can find the patience to wait, that your results will be much, much better. All right. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Foam tape for the win, definitely. Actually, to be honest with you guys, I was a little nervous about all this impression and unevenness to put foam tape on it. So when I first went, I just put glue on all the upper edges on the back. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna try it. I was a little worried the foam tape would make the front kind of warped because it would wanna grab all the high and low parts. So I didn't know at first. And then Taylor was like, maybe you should just try it. And I did, and I was like, okay. So I went back and tore apart very carefully the other one that I had just glued down flat. So if you're at all wondering, I'm just telling you, go with foam tape. It's a nice strong hold with all the unevenness of the embossing folder. And I was worried that you might have like up down pieces, but it's very flat. So, and then the sentiment, this is another thing that was released this week, was the whole collection of the Foilet Hello Friend. Now, if you were in the combo club with stencils and background stamps, or our stamp and stencil combo club, that was last summer, I believe, you might have this in your stash because this was released then. And I'm so glad it's out now. So we've done the foilet for it. You've got the stamp set, and then you also have a coordinating die that goes with it. So there's a couple of samples that Taylor did not get to show last week Tuesday because they weren't in yet. So I wanted to show them quick before, and so I also don't forget. They're both from Lori. So this one is stamped, so she unstamped the Hello Friend. And this one I think might be the foilet, and all she did was die cut it because I can tell it's not shiny, so it's not foiled, but those foilets can be used just as black if that works for you. Where did I lay them down at? They're just a pretty printed black if you decide, if you don't do the mink or whatever. These for the win, they're just stamped, they're just a nice black image. So I thought these were both beautiful, and both of these backgrounds are from our second chance release. So again, don't forget that sale for the 15% off for those runs out. I'm just going to say Monday night, just so you don't have to just figure out time zones and all of that. So you can either do like the foilet. I did the foilet on this one. So this was the foilet with champagne cardstock, or not champagne cardstock, sorry. I've got a little something right there. With champagne foil, but it's the foilet and the champagne foil, if you can see that. And then these are the teal glitter drip drops that I added to that one. This one I pre-embossed with some of our gold embossing powder, the sentiments from the Hello Friend stamp set. So I went ahead and I embossed them just so that you didn't have to listen to the heat tool while I was working. Let me grab my dies quick. Once again, as always, I've made a mess and now I can't find anything. So here's the stamp set. I need the dies. Maybe. I know they're here, I saw. Oh, you know what? I bet they're in here. Yes, they are. They're in, oh, I saw that earlier. It's kind of deceiving. I keep thinking I'm looking for a bigger die set because you only need the 2. The rest of them are all the same. So let's grab the die for that. A little bit of tape. Let's see, which one should we use? I've used the thinking of you, the thank you. Maybe I'll do hello friend. That will work. Let's tape that on there. Double check it. I might cut off these. I don't know about you, but when I put my cardstock through the die cut machine, I feel like it almost kind of mars my paper. So I'm getting to the point where I cut down all my cardstock to fit the die if I want to salvage or save any of it. Because my cutting plates just start to look worn after a while. And sorry, this was not straight. And because I can't get my head right over the top of it, I'm starting to see it once I picked it up. So let's try again. There we go. I think that's better. I always get it tipped up where I can see it better, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's not straight. So let me grab my die cut machine and all its parts. We don't need the embossing pad kit anymore. I do need my platform back, but you see how marred this is? I just am to the point now that I wouldn't want to send all 4 of those sentiments together at the same time. Do you guys just love, I think it's Charlie might be talking about the new freebie that comes with every order. It's that cute little flower. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it. And I love the little vases that were released, or, you know, like things to put the flower in that were released on Tuesday. So we'll add my Hello Friend to that. Grab a little bit more foam tape. The other thing that I do in my stamp room besides make a mess is I can't find things that are right underneath my nose. So we'll add our Hello Friend to this one. This still feels kind of cool because the ink is still wet sitting up on top of there. So we'll add our sentiment. I have to grab my ruler to make sure I know it's straight. I need my grids on my glass mat to help me line that up. I think this side's a little high. There we go. And then let's add some drip drops. The centers picked up the Concord, which is great, but I have to say sometimes it's not very consistent. I did a good job today. But that is, I think, why I really like putting down some drip drops. And I'm going to use the glitter drops. I am going to follow what I did on that one. Otherwise, I normally would just lay it out first, lay out all of my drip drops in place, and then pick and place them where they're supposed to go. But being as I'm following my earlier sample, I don't have to do that. Get them all going the right direction. I don't know, embellishments make everything better, I feel like. You can't go too far, right? But I thought it really kind of helped pop this card a little bit. There, kind of tuck that one in behind, and then I want a little one up in the corner. They don't want to land, as I call it, jelly side up, or what I need to be jelly side up. I'm always trying to flip them, get them going the way that I want them to. Another one here. I think I I want one more. No, I want a little one here, maybe a little one here, and another little one here. I guess I need more. Do we have any big weekend plans? I have none. Last weekend was very busy, so I'm kind of excited to have no weekend plans. So any big weekend plans for everyone? We're winding down on football, which is one of my favorite things. We've got a basketball going on now. I do like to watch college hoops. So yeah, we're a football or a sports family, I feel like, as far as basketball and football goes. So that's all I'm doing this weekend. I mean, I think actually my daughters and I are going to do cleaning up their closets. So I'm excited about that. Get that in, and there we go. That's the last one. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that technique. I can't take credit for who started that, but I thought it was so pretty. Just one of my favorite things. And again, this one, I feel like I do want one more layer. I might do that quick before I let y'all go. I feel like it just needs one more layer of that tropical punch over the top because I'm seeing some bare spots. And you can come back in and add the way you would like later. That doesn't hurt anything. I do think a brayer, a combination of dragging your ink pad and using the brayer, really helps. And if you're finding you're getting lines where you don't want it, try sticking to just the brayer. And I do like, to be honest, I really do like the speed balls, and I believe that's the one on our website. I just like the width of it. It's really good for card makers. It's really wide. I don't have to go over it so many times. I have the Ranger ones, and I love them too for different things. Just for this one and the size of my project, that might be why I like this one so much. Okay, one more time. There we go. That just makes the whole thing pop. My next challenge is I want to try it with a lighter color, like brayering the background with a lighter color. I think it'd be really pretty. So let me clean that up, and I'll bring my cards back in for you. I hope you enjoyed this. Do I have any great weekend plans? Not much. Excited. Oh, Angie's stalking her order. That is awesome. Sometimes you just got to do it. It makes you happy, right? To know that it's coming. I can't say if I didn't work here, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing. After this, I'm just going to go down to the studio and pick up my own order. So there we go. And again, don't forget, as these things dry, you just have to wait for it to dry back a little bit. I was wondering where this one is that okay, so to compare these two, I can still see that this one is still drying back just a little bit. Do you still see how dark that is? It should settle in to look more like that one. But there you go. Don't forget to join Taylor on Tuesday at 10 a.m. for her live. Like I said, I know it's really cute. And nope, sorry, no tea to spill. Watch the fan page on Tuesday. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great weekend, whatever you are doing. And thanks for joining me.